Hey, everybody. Cannabis industry lawyer Tom Howard, and we're going to talk about conditional licenses today. Conditional licenses are all the rage in the cannabis licensing states, well, at least in various states. This one is out of New Jersey, and I'm going to bring on Miggy. Miggy, how familiar are you with these conditional licenses that, depending on which state you live in, is how that state is starting to regulate the process of licensing a new business entity?
I'm not. That's why they scare me because this isn't a conditional. I mean, you have to have a lot of things in order to even before you apply.
No, the conditional is the opposite of that. New Jersey's conditional application process was only about 40 pages, but then like everything was maybe about 60, maybe a little bit more because some of those disclosures were like 38 pages. But it's mostly, and I thought maybe we'd be going over the Connecticut one because it strikes me as a conditional style of license. And Illinois just came out with one as well. It is a smaller, stripped down license that is not it's not a complete license. It doesn't give you the right to do the business. It gives you the right to, in the future, do the business, provided that you get the rest of the application done. So it is a way to reduce the barrier of entry by having certain basic information, for example, like the corporate formation documents, to prove ownership and control, especially if there's social equity aspects. Or you may have financial source agreements. You might not even need to disclose a real estate address. You might not need to disclose much, and then you may pay a small fee. Sometimes this is often done before a lottery. I would say that Washington State probably had a conditional license award. You won the license through the lottery, and then you had to get compliant with everything. So it's the thing that you do to determine whether or not you're going to even get the license before you have to build the rest of your application. And doing it that way can save entrepreneurs a substantial amount of money because they don't have to invest and write the entire like 400 pages until after they know that they're going to be able to open for business, provided that they go get that 300 or 400 pages of application materials.
Are any of is there timelines to any of these conditional?
Conditional applications have many timelines. Very often, there will be a deadline for you to get to the next step. And so the next step for the conditional in New Jersey, for example, is 120 days, but it can be extended for another 45 days. So it's like 165 days. Or in the case of Illinois, to get your dispensary open, you have like 6 months, 180 days, to find your location, and then another 6 months, 180 days, to build out everything and then be open as a dispensary, which would be your conditional licensure period. And then you have your annual license, your final license that allows you to actually conduct the business. New York's doing this as well with its dispensaries for its justice involved applicants. And they all look fairly similar. It's a lot of basic paperwork to describe who the people are that are applying, like resumes may be involved, for example. Personal financial statements may be involved. And then certain other basic materials. Like with New Jersey's, it was 40 pages of basic materials. It was a business and plan and management profile, and then it was also a compliance plan, 20 pages each.
Damn. But this conditional, did you say all the states have it? So,
Nope.
Another question too. Huh? Not all
Not
states
all
do.
states. No, they may have a conditional period. For example, like in Ohio, you got in a lottery and you won. And then after you win, or in Arizona or wherever, where you have a limited amount of licenses and then you have to win them. Or you have a period between the time that you're approved at one level of you can have the license and you can conduct business with the license. So that interim period is very often known as the conditional license.
Damn.
Yep.
And then do you lose if you can't meet your requirements? Then you lose your license, or do you get to sell it?
That very often both, and you might be able to structure a sale, but that's like again the transferability of the license is a common thing in the industry. So they very often don't transfer the license as much as they sell the membership interest or the stock in the company, and then that license then didn't really transfer. The people behind the license moved.
Yeah. No, I get you now. Interesting.
Yep. And that's it. That's our little How to Cannabis segment on conditional licenses. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. I'm going to then flash one of these little likes and subscribes one more time because we don't do that enough, right?
Like me,
And
love
yeah,
me.
yes, I'm a histrionic wreck. Pay attention to me, please.
Look at me, look at me.
Look at me, look at me, look at me. Yeah.
Just can't look at me on Facebook for another day.
Well, you shouldn't have done that. That's the thing. I like how, like, no contrition at all. No, like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. Just like, hey, why not?
Because Facebook's wrong.
Well, the law is wrong. The law is wrong. And trying to change it with that block in place makes it last longer. And that's the beef that I have with the socials. And so one of the things that I think we're going to do is try to rename the channel Legalization News. And then in all of our descriptions and especially our titles, in our titles or in our descriptions, omit the word weed, cannabis, marijuana, anything like that. And then just use germane topics like garden, flowers, products, seeds, store, right? We'll write all the titles and then even the channel's name, and then just take off one word, and that might be enough to let us out of the cage. Because if you are on YouTube watching, especially on the app, scroll down. I bet you see a lot of garden talk, but not very much of us. And maybe not very much of the Dude Grows Show, and maybe not very much of Future Cannabis Project or Pro Cannabis Media or anybody who has like a lot of weed that they both call their channel and then also put on their thumbnails and whatnot.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle, but
yep. Well, no, they mark this 121 plus by the time we hang up.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, to all the members and all the people tuning in, the subscribers, thanks so much. Don't forget to review our podcast on Apple Podcast or somewhere else and excoriate us for not being very professional.
Smoke 'em, you got him.
Smoke 'em if you got him. See you next time, everybody.
I'm back to work.
Yep. Back to it.
I just want to lay in bed and watch TV today.
Really? Is it just not that nice out there?
Nah, it's overcast.